I'm Bradley Fuller. I'm the host and producer of Sonatas and Soundscapes. It's South Carolina Public Radio's weekday live classical music program. My love for classical music started from a very early age. I think I can trace it back to at least first grade, but probably before. And I would really listen closely when those Looney Tunes cartoons came on with Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd spoofing Wagner. I think Kill the Wabbit is many people's first encounter with classical music, and of course it's a parody, but I found it hilarious, but also really enjoyable too. And from there, anytime I heard classical music, I would just kind of run to the TV and see what was going on. Working at South Carolina Public Radio has been really interesting for me because you have such a diverse range of people with expertise in various fields all coming together. So for me to work with them is a chance to learn all about these other areas that I might not get to pick up on as much when I'm researching about Mozart and Haydn, which I love to do. But I think exposure to these other fields, and also just hearing the news play over the speakers. So it's nice just to kind of have that as the backdrop to my workday. Good morning to you, and thanks for tuning in to Sonatas and Soundscapes, your source for classical music on the weekdays here at South Carolina Public Radio. I really aim to put a lot of variety into each show, so maybe something from the Baroque era, maybe something composed just a few years ago, pieces that feature a lot of performers, like one of Mahler's symphonies, all the way to works that just call for one, like a solo sonata for a violin or pianist. So variety is a key part of the show. My hope is that the show offers people music that's just pleasant to listen to, so some nice background music, maybe something that makes a good soundtrack for their workday or for errands they might be running, driving in the car, whatever. But I also want to put in pieces that make people think, that maybe challenge them a little bit. So perhaps beside a favorite warhorse, you know, a piece that any orchestra can play and the audience will love it. Alongside that, I might want to play something that's a bit more difficult perhaps on the first listen, but I found personally, and I think I've heard other people say, that a lot of works they love now were not necessarily ones that they enjoyed the first time they heard them. So I think exposing people to either new works by composers still living or old works by very obscure composers that aren't talked about a whole lot, I think exposing them to that offers something really rich for the audience.
That was pianist Maria João Pires.
The German Romantic composer Felix Mendelssohn said that the thoughts expressed to him by the music which he loved were not too indefinite to be put into words, but too definite. And although I really love announcing these pieces, providing some context about them, it really is all about the music itself. And I think the power of this music becomes apparent to me through some of the interactions I have with listeners. The South Carolina audience really makes it clear how much they value and appreciate this music. Knowing that this music has the power that it does and that it reaches out to so many listeners is very encouraging for me.